Hi, everyone. This is Terry Arvizu Gonzalez from the Tag Collab podcast, where leadership meets some humanity and reinvention can be a strategy. Um, Today, I am going to be talking about a topic that I think trans that that is tra- that speaks or is universal to anybody, regardless of being. In my case, I'm bicultural, bilingual. This is for everyone. And as I read more and more headlines about more and more companies laying off workers, first we saw it in tech, we're seeing it in media now, even now with the government shutdown, even some may happen in government. I think it's an important time to also reframe how we look at challenges, right? Can often be, or changes can often be new opportunities as well. And so my article talks about making career pivots. Um, Sometimes the best way to continue your and accelerate your growth is to take what you do in one industry and move it over into another one, because look, let's be honest, when sometimes some industries are shrinking, others, that represents new opportunities that are growing in other places. And so, oftentimes people think about career reinvention as being we need to burn everything down, and it doesn't, right? Sometimes the smartest move is staying in the same role but taking your talent to a new industry. Oftentimes, I think about it that if you are on a ladder, you may have reached the top of that ladder because of maybe your own personal growth, or your values have changed, or even the industry is changing. In order to get to climb up a higher ladder, you need to get off that ladder and sometimes take a lateral move and then move up. So it can be anything really. Like you may be craving new energy, fresh ideas, culture. You may want to, you topped out where you're at. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. It isn't just layoffs. That one might decide that taking a lateral move is is the best next move for their overall net future, right? So anyhow, with I put together this article, which is a couple of steps that I want you to think about if you are in that situation. And the first is step one, which is about defining your motivation and your anchors. Um, this is before you even start to write a resume or anything like that. I encourage people to really journal and spend time reconnecting with what their talents are, and then figuring out how those things transfer over into new industries. But before you go into deciding how it transfers, I would suggest that you look at, and before you even start to update your resume, clarity is really important here. And so figuring out, why are you leaving in the first place? Is it burnout? Is it lack of growth? Maybe your values have changed. You have the right to change your mind when you pick a career at 18 and then decide that you want that to change. That's okay. I think a study shows that most people have 3 to 4 careers in their lives, right? And those transitions can be scary, but I think with what I'm putting together for you here, it can help it feel like a framework that you can accelerate what you're going to figure out on your own 100%. If you didn't read my articles, you'd figure it out on your own. But this, why I love frameworks, is that they accelerate our growth and our transition, right? And so things about beyond why you're leaving, I also encourage you to think about what are some of your non-negotiables: pay, flexibility, creativity, purpose, culture. um that's going to those are going to be the filters for you evaluating what's next. And so you know be ready to answer the question to yourself, and if you choose to, because you don't have to share this, why now, why this industry, why are you making the change? Okay, so that's number one. Step two is about translating your skills. Every industry values people who solve problems, drive results. Identify what those transferable strengths are in the industry you're in to the industry that you want to go to. Leadership, storytelling, analysis, collaboration all translate well into new industries. So, just an example, in media, audience engagement is in regular business, or in other businesses, it can mean customer experience. Newsroom leadership is agile team leadership in another industry. So leading with outcomes, not with tasks, measurable results, growth, revenue, efficiency, excuse me, travel very well. Here's a confidence booster. In one study of workers, 45% reported successfully transitioning into a new career. This is something people do every single day. Um, Experience doesn't hold you back. It compounds your value when reframed correctly. Step 3, immerse yourself. You can't sound credible in this new space or this new industry if you don't understand its lingo. Learn its rhythm, its vocabulary. So I would encourage you to look for who are the top voices on LinkedIn in that industry. Read trade publications, attend webinars or conferences. I also encourage you, as I've said before, ChatGPT, love ChatGPT. How about putting an alert every single morning to teach you, say, I'm going into this new industry, teach me, send me a daily lesson so that I can learn the language, the vocabulary, the latest trends in that industry, and then it'll send you an alert every morning. Conduct 10 short informal interviews to learn what insiders care about. You know, you don't need these don't necessarily have to be people that are going to hire you. They can be people who you're really talking, like as journalists we talk about it, so we call it talking on background. Is you're gathering information to be better prepared and understand the vocabulary, the trends, the rhythms of that new industry. But you would be surprised how many people, once you do approach it, instead of it being an ask, you just really want to just sit and learn from them, uh are eventually will may actually come and say, you know what, at the end of the conversation, hey, I can connect you with this person or this person or this person. You know, lead with your curiosity and fluency before you even apply. Step 4 is about building a bridge, not a leap. Maybe it's not about starting over 100%. Sometimes it's about what they call baby steps. So looking for a crossover role between your current and target industries. Take a freelance position or consulting projects to test your fit and also to open up the space there. Um, a lot of positions start this way. You take on that freelance role and then it opens up into something that is full time if you choose to do that. If not, you can of course continue to freelance and to consult. Earning micro credentials to signal commitment. I encourage you, always, regardless of whether you're staying, actually, whatever, whether you're staying in your industry or you're moving to another one, you need to be a student of life. You need to continue to be a student for life. I encourage you to take courses, whether they're at a local university or a college or even on Coursera. Just this is another way to continue to sharpening your skills and position yourself as somebody who can go into that new industry. Step 5 is to rebrand and network intentionally. Update your resume and your LinkedIn summary using the new language, the new industry's language. Practice a 60-second narrative that ties your experience to their needs. This is what this would look like. I've spent X amount of years driving impact in the current industry. My skills in this, and this directly support your industry because, and you give the reason. Then show up, join professional groups, associations. Those are to start building a network of people within that industry. Oftentimes, when you come to look at your network, you realize that it is heavy, heavy in your own industry. Um, Again, I would encourage you, if you are want to learn more about this, about crossing over into new networks and thinking about uh, networking as a science. I share a lot of that in my talk here, also on Substack, that is called the Science of Networking or Strategic Networking. Yeah, so check that out. Be visible in when you do sign up to those associations, to those professional networks. It's about being visible. Post insights that connect your old world to your new world. This is about using branding on LinkedIn. Also, being present and going to, it isn't just joining them, it's attending them. Build that network there. um, and then step 6 is about watching your mindset creep. Here's where career transitions, aren't just strategic, they're also psychological. When you enter unfamiliar territory, remember Okay, if you have a fixed mindset, you're going to say, oh, I'm not good at this. I wasn't meant for this. If you have a growth mindset, you understand that you are able to learn new things, that your natural born talent or your knowledge isn't something that you're born with. It's something that you can build with time. Also, no attribution bias. Is another sort of creep, as I call it, psychological creep that holds us back. Oh, well, my success was just luck. I mean, I have to confess to you, I do this is an issue for me. I think to myself as I look at my career, well, was it just luck? Well, is this the one career now move now that they're gonna realize that I'm a fraud? Um, I laugh about it, but it's real for me. And I'm sure that it's real for you, which is hence why I transparently share it with you. Both, we distort reality and we can limit our potential that way. Um, there is if you have not learned enough about fixed mindset and growth mindset, I encourage you to check more out about that, because those people with a fixed mindset tend to fail more when it comes to making creating these transitions. Okay. um as I conclude here, the truth about industry changes is that you're not starting from zero, you're starting from experience. In fact, and I won't make this podcast any longer, I one of my favorite books is by Liz Wiseman. It's called Rookie Smarts, and it talks about how where are rookies good and where are veterans good, and when is the optimal situation, for example, is when actually a veteran goes into a rookie industry. And so I'll put the link and you guys can check it out. Or if enough of you are interested, I certainly will share that. So anyhow, I would suggest you just continue to pair your curiosity with evidence that you you know be courageous and adaptable to this industry. You can really impact your career, your longevity in your career by making these moves. And it's something that, like I mentioned before, a lot of people do have more than one career in their life, and it can be scary. So if you liked this podcast, please consider sharing it, especially with folks who do need to hear this, who are going through some sort of transition or getting ready to go through a transition. Till next time, I am Terry Arvisu Gonzalez from the Tag Collab, and I'll see you soon. Take care.